Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our chapter is this transportation of materials in living things. So far in our previous video, we discussed about these blood vessels. So today we'll move on to the other part in this topic. We'll discuss the blood. So we've already covered all the blood vessels. We said there are three kinds of blood vessels in our bodies. The capillaries, the veins, and the arteries. So let's move on to the blood. Now we'll start with the major components of the blood. So we know that blood, this is just the red fluid that circulates in our blood vessels. So it's just that kind of a red fluid that is found within our body, and the one that is circulating within our blood vessels. The blood vessels are the capillaries, the veins, and the arteries. Now, the average human body, it contains for about 4 to 5 liters of blood. So those are just the average liters of average liters of blood that an average human body can have, the 4 to 5 liters of blood. Now, blood is circulated as a connective tissue, and in a way, it consists of the two main components. So here are the main components of the blood. The first one we have the plasma, which is just a clear extra cellular fluid. So this is the first component of the blood. So the plasma. Then the second one is the solid component, which are made up of these blood cells and the platelets. So those are just the two main or major components which a blood can contain. The plasma, which is just the clear extracellular fluid, and the solid component. Here we're talking about the blood cells and the platelets. Now, the solid component is the one that is made up of the blood cells, except for the platelets, which are just the tiny fragments of the bone marrow cells. Now, the solid components consists the solid component. It consists of the blood cells, which they include as follows. So here are the main blood cells that are found within the solid components of the blood. The first one is that we have the erythrocytes, also known as the red blood cells, the RBCs. Then we have the leukocytes, which are also known as the white blood cells, WBCs. And also we have the platelets that are also known as the thrombocytes. So these are just the components within the solid part of the blood. The red blood cells are most white blood cells, and the platelets are produced in the bone marrow, the soft fatty tissue that is found within the bone cavities. The bone cavities. So all these three, the red blood cells, most of the white blood cells, and the platelets are the ones that are produced in the bone marrow, which is just that kind of a soft fatty tissue that is found inside the bone cavities. Now, the white blood cells, the lymphocytes, are also produced in the lymph nodes and the spleen and in the thymus gland. So the white blood cells, they can also be produced in these kinds of the parts. Now, within the bone marrow, all blood cells, they originate from a single type of unspecialized cell that is called the stem cell. So that's where all these blood cells, they originate from. So, which is just kind of a part that is within the bone marrow. Now, when a stem cell, it divides, it first becomes an immature red blood cell, white blood cell, or platelet producing cell. So that's the beginning part when a stem cell, when it divides itself. Now, the immature cell then it divides, matures further, and ultimately becomes a mature red blood cell, white blood cell, or platelets. So that's when it is. Now, when this immature cell, when it divides itself more, so matures further, and ultimately after maturing, it becomes a mature red blood cell, a white blood cell, and or just a platelet. Now here you can see the blood cells. This is just a illustration of all these three: the red blood cells, the platelets, and the white blood cell. As you can see, this is just how you can observe them, how they can be drawn, and here is how they can flow within the blood vessel. So all these are the blood cells. Now the major components of the blood keeping on, by the volume, the plasma, it consists about 55% of the whole blood, and the red blood cells, platelets, and the white blood cells are the ones that are about 45%. 45%. So when you're talking about the volume here, we're trying to talk about the capacity these components they occupy within the blood. As you can see, the plasma, it consists for about 55% of the whole blood, and the remaining percent contains the red blood cells, the platelets, and the white blood cells. And here is how you can see, this is the pie chart showing the percentage of these components of the blood. As you can see, the plasma 55% and 45% for the red blood cells, platelets, and the white blood cells. So that's all I have for this session of the script, and thank you for listening. Discuss these various components, major components of the blood. We've seen we can have the plasma and the solid component of the blood. Solid component of the blood, we've seen there are these red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. We've seen how they can be produced. So thank you for this session. In our next session, you'll see the functions of these blood cells. So that's all clear, and thank you.